Pyongyang has adjusted its diplomacy from taking the two Koreas from the edge of war to discussing peace within the space of 4 months. And the country's leader, Jung-Un, is a central figure in all of this.
Meeting his South Korean counterpart, Jung-Un, suspending nuclear tests and switching the national policy to economic development, Mr. Kim has been setting up the table for the peace talks.
But on Mr. Kim's table, solutions to the peace on the Korean peninsula are to be hammered out. But the solutions will be decided by who sits at the table. So, what do you think about the Korean peninsula solution? Do you think it will work or not?
The table for the previous peace talks gathered 2 parties, 3 parties, 4 parties and 6 parties. Up until 2016, the 6-party talks were conducted 6 times.
But in the agreement reached by the two Korean leaders, they have made plans for a peace treaty talk either involving 3 parties or 4 parties, including China.
The dynamics of the meeting will inevitably change if China were to join the DPRK, South Korea and the United States for the peace talks. 3 parties or 4 parties? That's the question. Let's make the case for China joining the talks. What can China offer? First, the two Koreas see rifts in their future status. China can press both parties to stress the urgency of resolving the nuclear issue, rather than just restating it as a goal. Second, can the DPRK rely on the US alone for assurances that the DPRK's sovereignty is protected if it gives up its nuclear weapons? The two countries are obviously far from trusting one another. This is where China becomes vital in pulling together the two countries. Third, South Korea and the US are allies, and the DPRK needs the backing of China to balance 4-party talks if it were to take place. This has been reinforced by the recent visit of Kim Jong-un to Beijing.
In that sense, China, on an equal footing with the US, can work to balance the needs of each party at the table.
So far, the top leaders of China and the DPRK met twice this year, sending a strong signal that Pyongyang expects China to be at the table.
China essentially wants to play a bigger role in the 4-party talks. In fact, it has proposed a freeze-for-freeze resolution to the Korean peninsula, requiring that the DPRK suspends its nuclear tests and the US and South Korea to halt their military exercises. Mr. Trump's meeting with Kim Jong-un next month clearly demonstrates that the table is on the right setting. But what is clear is that everyone has to participate in the peace talks for the peace talks to be successful. I'm Josh, stay tuned with China Matters.